Hey, welcome to One Simple Way. This is David Lane, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. For most people, they join their business and they're all excited to make it big, and we're all told that if the dream was big enough, that we would get all the success that we desired. In fact, we saw the plan in someone's kitchen, living room, or maybe it was a hotel or a restaurant, and we were told that we just needed to make a list of 100 to 1,000 people, and that would be enough to find the handful of people that would do it too, and who would be the leaders of our enterprise. In fact, I remember discussing the free enterprise system and how evil the corporate world is for making us work 40 hours or more a week and only giving us, what the boss is willing to give up. And I was told that, probably like most of you, that we would only retire on 1/3 of what we made before the retirement. And I remember staying awake that night and seeing circles on the ceiling and up and down the walls and everywhere, knowing that I was going to be rich real soon. In fact, I remember trying to memorize the best contact scripts so I can wow people with my great knowledge of the great marketing plan. Oh, and there's those tapes and videos and seminars and conventions and rallies and on and on and on. Wow. So fast forward 10 years later, and like most of you, I hadn't made a dime. So why is that, and what happened? They say, what, your dream really wasn't big enough? And the truth is that today we should not do those old school practices, because now we understand why people are really saying no. And we always had that dream about, saturating the market, but that never that never really happened either, did it? And so, the reason I want to share this with you is you need to know what's really going on and what you need to do to get your piece of the pie. You can get there no matter your current experience. You may have started just last week, or maybe it's been 20 or more years ago. I don't care where you are, you can do this. I'm going to show you how to take some action that will move you in the right direction today. Tony Robbins, he always says, where focus goes, energy flows. And so you don't need to make some long list of friends and acquaintances, but you'll learn to focus on the right actions to build your business starting today. First, we're going to cover the different phases of personal progression. And with that, we're going to talk about why you need to know the different phases, how to get the most from each phase, how to get over to phase 4 quicker, and the number one reason you quit everything you've tried before. Also, you'll find out how to eliminate your biggest fear, and you're going to take one simple way to put it all together. When you are doing something new, like taking a class or, say, a new diet program or a new online marketing business, there are 4 phases that we all go through. And if we get stuck in the beginning phases, it's done. It's over for us. We can't move on. And when it comes to most people, this causes us to quit what we had big hopes of accomplishing. So some say, oh, the dream just wasn't big enough, but that isn't always true. And others say, it just wasn't meant to be. But those who succeed, you know what? They don't think that way. Often we compare ourselves with others, and that's a huge mistake. In fact, it often looks like the other person did it effortlessly, and we don't even know the struggles that they had to go through to get there. Have you ever watched those reality shows that take an average person and by the end of the show they've succeeded? Well, this is not reality. And you need to understand it doesn't happen in just 30 minutes. These shows, they gave this person hours of training and maybe months to achieve these results. I hate those home makeover shows because they refinish a bathroom or a backyard or some other room in just 30 minutes. And if you take out the commercials, it really is just 15 minutes of video. And so don't get hung up on comparing your success to anyone else. That is a big progress killer. Now I'm going to walk you through the 4 phases of progression, And the importance of this is to understand what phase you are actually in and how to move to the next phase. And once you know where you are and have a clear picture of where you want to be, you can move there. You'll see how simple it is to go from one phase to the next one, and you'll understand the phases, and I'll also give you the guidelines to get past the obstacles that are ahead. Those obstacles, let's just talk about the obstacles for a minute. Obstacles are things that get in the way to discourage us from moving forward. Obstacles like, fear hold us back, and they just keep us from moving toward our dreams. Have you ever wanted to contact someone about your business, but were afraid of what they might think? Fear destroys our ability to move on, to move on to the next stage, and causes us to quit. We even tell our sponsor all the excuses about why we can't do the business. Or we tell our trainer for why we can't work out 3 times per week. And we just make excuse after excuse after excuse, and we make excuses to protect us from our fears. You need to understand what fear is and why it's stopping you. I'm going to show you how to take your fears and face it head on so that you can move on to the next phase. Yes, there are more phases past your fear, and you'll be able to recognize your fears for what they really are and avoid them. Well, most of them. Because the truth is, we always have some fears, but when we can put it into the right perspective, we can overcome those fears. We can move around them or just make some of them disappear. Because some of them, and I should say most of your fears, aren't even real, but they sure seem like they are. Fears put into perspective disappear, and most fears aren't real. You'll begin to understand why you have failed in the past and how you can fix it. You'll be able to map out your own vision and get the results that you've always been expecting but never have accomplished. I will coach you step by step on how to take your vision, and one step at a time, you'll get closer and closer to your vision. You'll decide what the time frame is to accomplish your vision, and you'll know what to do and where to take the next step so you can go from one phase to the next. And when you know the 4 phases of progression, you are working to quickly get to that 4th phase as soon as possible. And when you are there, you'll have achieved your vision and go even farther than you thought possible. I've learned to use these 4 phases in my life. I am using it right now just to share this with you. And believe me, I was full of fear when it came to applying what I was taught and implementing it. I couldn't stand doing any sort of presentation. And I'm no Tony Robbins or Frank Kern, but just appearing now before you has been a major breakthrough for me. And it takes me years to overcome my own roadblocks that held me back and kept me from moving forward. Once I began implementing the processes that I'm going to share with you, I changed pretty rapidly. And it was in just a matter of a couple months that I started noticing a difference. I didn't have to wait years. It was just weeks. Where will you be 6 months from now if you keep doing what you're doing? How about a year from now, or even 5 years from now? The reality is, you will still be broke making your boss's dreams come true. I didn't want to participate in that, so I began learning and spending large amounts of my time, staying up late at night, listening and watching and learning from those who have succeeded. And I want you to be able to take control of your life. You can achieve your dreams when you know how the 4 phases of progression affect everything that you do. You no longer need to worry about your fears that steal your thunder every time. You can use this great content in everything you do and make progress toward your vision every step of the way. In fact, you're in control. You'll know more than 99% of the industry when you understand the 4 phases. You can use them to help all of those around you. And believe me, that is when things begin to change and the magic begins. There's no telling where you'll be able to go, Phase 2 is where most people give up. As a matter of fact, most people don't ever get to Phase 3 because they are so devastated by their fears and can't see past the obstacles that hold them back. But with One Simple Way, you're taking the steps needed to pass through and help you develop the skills you need to make it to the top. Do you really need to know more? Now you're probably wondering, so how much does this all cost? Well, let me tell you, with One Simple Way, you're going to learn so much. You're going to find out what's really stealing your dream. Learn why you can't get over it unless you know what it is. Also, the 4 phases of personal progression. Knowing what phase you're in will help you to create a plan to move on to the next phase. You also learn how to deal with the fender benders. And this is how life tries to get you to quit, but dealing with the fender benders makes you better. Learn how to create the action plan to get it to phase 4 even faster. Now this is a step-by-step goals to get you from point A to point Z. And you're going to learn how to take action towards your dreams. Your actions determine your success. So needless to say, there's going to be a lot of valuable content that most people never get. And I've given seminars and webinars and provide this content in leadership camps, but now you can get in on this great industry-leading information by downloading it in just a few minutes. You can have all this at your fingertips almost instantly. And while I've been able to charge up to $300, you're not going to pay even $250 or not even $200. I am practically giving this information away when you consider how much time and money it cost me to receive this over the past several years. You know, I've spent thousands of dollars, and I'm going to give it to you at a steal for a limited time for just $99. Now remember, with One Simple Way, you will learn what is stealing your dream, the 4 phases of personal progression. You'll also learn how to deal with the fender benders, and learn how to create an action plan for yourself to get to phase 4 even faster. And learn how your actions determine your success. So don't wait. Don't download this right now. And it's risk-free. I'm going to give you my 30-day risk-free guarantee. So if there's any reason you're not happy in the first 30 days, you can get your full $99 back. Now I'm also going to include a bonus, and it's called One Simple Way to Improve Each Day. And this is a step-by-step way to make more progress every single day. You know, a lot of us get stuck. You know, we do stuff one day and we don't work on it the next. Well, I'm going to help you with that. Now, this One Simple Way offer is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Download it right now, risk-free. That is the lowest cost I'll ever let this go for. And I really mean it. This is worth thousands of dollars. I've been to seminar after seminar and purchased program after program and product after product, and I fine-tuned what I have learned over the past several years. And now you can have it for a steal of just $99. There's so much great content here that you can take just one of these to heart, and it will change your life. I know because I've done it. No kidding, and you can too. I don't have to tell you where you're going with your business currently, but now you can take control of your life and earn the money you've been dreaming about. You can get better results in your business right away, and for a limited time it's just $99. Don't put off what you've been looking for all along. Get One Simple Way right now.